Today we are showing you how to get a girl to like you. If you're like most guys, it may seem pretty hard to make a good impression on a girl, and while it's true that there's pretty much nothing you can do that will make a woman instantly fall in love with you, there are things you can do to drastically improve the odds that she'll start to like you. So here are 14 tips and one must-know rule for getting a girl to like you. Let's start with what's probably the most important rule of how to get a girl to like you, because without this one rule, everything else you learn today likely won't work. The golden rule when talking to a woman is to just be yourself. Here's why it's so important. If you're trying to be somebody that you're not only will you not be able to focus on her, she'll probably be immediately turned off by your fake persona or she'll buy into it, which leaves you having to pretend that you're someone you're not. On the other hand, if you're being genuine and she likes the real you, you're well set up for starting a healthy and sustainable relationship with her. We all know approaching a girl can feel daunting and stressful. And while every conversation you have isn't going to be a home run, these 7 tips will help make you more comfortable and appear more confident. Tip number 1, start with eye contact. Sometimes men rehearse what they're going to say before approaching a woman and forget this one important and obvious method for making things easier. Before you say anything to her, simply smile and make eye contact. The reason this tip is so helpful is because it shows you're friendly before you even say anything. So the next time you're going to approach a woman, instead of going straight in and delivering a line, get off on the right foot by looking her in the eye and giving her a welcoming smile. Tip number 2, stand or sit up straight when talking to a girl. Maybe the easiest thing you can do to instantly get a woman to like you more is to stand or sit up straight when you're around her. Because even though it may not be possible to actually be taller, you can easily project a strong, confident presence that won't go unnoticed. And the best part about this tip, good posture can make such a big difference, but it's also easy to do. Which means you can effortlessly increase your attractiveness while staying focused on her. Tip number 3, in the beginning don't focus too much on body language. Even though body language can be a highly effective way to signal to a girl that you like her, focusing overly hard on reading it could ultimately be a turnoff. And here's why: there's not much that women appreciate from a man more than the ability to listen to them. So if you're too focused on what her body might be saying, you could miss out on some of the important things that she's actually telling you. Tip number 4, just say hey. If you spend too much time rehearsing your approach, it's easy to start to think that you have to be totally original every time, and while being clever probably can't hurt, it's easy for women to spot an overly practiced line, and it's an immediate red flag. So instead of trying to surprise her with something she's never heard before, try to surprise her with something refreshing that she hasn't heard in a while, and just start with a simple hey. Tip number 5, talk about your common interest. After you've gotten her attention, you'll need to find something to talk about, and what's better subject to start with than your common interests? There's only one problem. If you've just met her, how can you possibly know what interests you share? Well, you might not notice it at first, but there is actually one obvious topic right in front of you. It's the place where you're talking. Think about it, if you're meeting her in school or at a coffee shop, she has to have an opinion of her classes or the shop. Just like you do. So ask her about it. The reason this tip is so valuable makes sense. Talking about where you are is a genuine conversation starter, but more importantly, by asking for her opinion or what's on her mind, she'll appreciate that you care about what she has to say, and that's a surefire way of getting a girl to like you. Tip number 6, mention something noteworthy. Imagine a scenario where something big happens when the two of you are together. Maybe it's a particularly drunk guy who's getting a little too rowdy, or maybe there's a power outage or something even more random. Like a marriage proposal. Whatever it is. Now you have the perfect thing to talk about: a unique shared experience. These experiences can be rare, which is what makes them valuable. So if you've noticed something noteworthy, take the opportunity and start talking about it. Tip number 7, don't try to force the conversation. One of the reasons why we put such an emphasis on being yourself is because if you're so caught up in how you're coming off, you're probably not focusing on her, and if that's happening, the conversation won't fall into a natural flow where you both genuinely enjoy it. So let the conversation run its course, even if that means you run out of things to talk about. The next 7 tips are for after you've gotten past the initial ice-breaking stage. Maybe you're just running into each other more, or maybe you're already going on a date. Either way, after you've gotten past that initial approach, these 7 tips will help. Tip number 8, now start to consider your body language. Now that you're talking more and are a little more comfortable with each other, it's the perfect time to start reading what her body language might be telling you. What are the signals you should look for? If she's copying your body language, turning her toes toward you, or opening up her posture, she's likely interested. These are a few classic signs that she may be subconsciously sending and ones that you should reciprocate if you are interested. Tip number 9. Lightly tease her. Many guys do as a form of flirting. That's because it shows a sense of humor and that you can be fun and clever. But there's also another big reason why teasing is a good tip to make a girl like you. To most women, teasing her makes it pretty clear that you see her as more than just a friend. So, playfully remind her of her goofiness and tease her lightly about the things that she likes. Tip number 10. Treat her differently than you treat your friends. Teasing her isn't the only way you can make it clear that she's not just a friend to you. For the same reasons why you shouldn't tease her like everybody else. Now, being so forward may seem risky at first. But if you're with someone you really like and you really want her to like you, show her that she's more special to you than everybody else. Tip number 11. Don't be afraid to make fun of yourself. In case you already didn't know by now, confidence and genuineness are huge factors in getting a girl to like you, and one of the best ways to show a woman that you're confident is to show her that you don't take yourself too seriously. Just like you probably don't want a woman who's insecure and needs constant validation. Women don't want a guy to be like that either. So bottom line, don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. Tip number 12, don't be afraid to show her how great you are. Even though it's important to be humble and to be able to laugh at yourself, showing a woman your skills and talents is a great way to make her like you more. These talents are a big thing that sets you apart from everyone else. And generally speaking, women are attracted to talented men. Tip number 13, bring up things she's mentioned in the past. One big thing that women want out of their boyfriend is someone who cares, and what's the best way to let her know that you care? Show her that you've been listening to what she's been saying. So, if she's mentioned that she has a test, a new job, or anything big going on in her life, bring it up the next time you talk. Even if it's just over text. By doing this, you not only show her that you've been listening, but you show her that you've been thinking about her, and both of these are great ways to show her that you're someone she wants to be with, boyfriend material. Tip number 14, ask her out at the right time. Okay, so she's clearly interested in you, and it's time to ask her out. There's one important thing to remember. Don't wait too long. If you do, there's a serious risk that she might lose interest or find someone new. Those are 14 powerful tips and one must-know rule on how to get a girl to like you. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to let us know and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And while you're here, why not check out these other powerful videos? Thanks for watching you.